That time, Maitreya Muni also came there. He heard all the teachings given by Krishna to Uddhav. And this Maitreya Muni also became a exalted devotee. Although he had some little gnana tendencies before, he became purified now. Right? And he directly heard so many spiritual teachings from Krishna in the presence of a pure devotee like Uddhava. So this is Maitreya Muni. That is his background. Now before we get into the meeting between Maitreya Muni and Vidura, let's talk a little bit about the meeting between Vidura and Uddhava. Vidura is doing his pilgrimage. He was going to different holy places. And Uddhava is going from Dwaraka or Prabhasa Kshetra all the way to Badrikashram. On the way, I think on the bank of Saraswati river. So these two personalities met. Who? Uddhava and Vidura. They met. Then Vidura innocently asked, Uddhava, are you okay? How are you doing? How is Krishna? How is Balaram? How are the Pandavas? Because for the last few years, he was not in touch with Hastinapura or Dwaraka. Vidura is just wandering in the forests and going to different pilgrimage places. But he did not know that already Krishna disappeared from the planet. And by this time, Yudhishthira Maharaj became the king. Kurukshetra war has happened. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. So many things have happened. But somehow Vidura has no updates. Nobody was sending him WhatsApp messages. He was not checking TV or newspaper or websites. No updates available. No signal only. No smartphone only. Right? Yes. Freely wandering in the forests. Haribol. Whoever says Haribol has to give up smartphone. We are really appreciating Vidura's situation of moving around without smartphone. Of course, for service you can keep. It's all for seva. Anyways, Vidura and Uddhava met. Then as Vidura was asking Uddhava so many questions about the welfare of his family members and Yadus and all the people, then Uddhava said, Vidura, what welfare are you talking about? You're asking about our family members? You gave a big list of names. But please understand, there will be no welfare in Krishna's absence. What welfare are you talking about when Krishna has already disappeared from this planet? Krishna concluded his pastimes on the planet and he went back to his supreme spiritual abode. So then in this context, Uddhava went into an ecstatic remembrance of Krishna's so many pastimes. He was meditating. Actually, when Vidura asked some questions about Krishna, Uddhava did not speak for one muhurta. You know what is one muhurta? 48 minutes he did not speak a single word. When you ask me a question, for 48 minutes I don't speak only. I close my eyes and I'm like this. You may think I'm sleeping. Or you may think that I don't know the answer to the question. Or you may get up and go away. Or you may check your mobile. Right? But Vidura could understand that Uddhava did not immediately respond because he was in deep trance. He was in meditating. He was in meditation on Krishna. So because Uddhava is exalted devotee, Vidura is also exalted devotee. Vidura could understand Uddhava's emotions. He patiently waited for one muhurta, and then after one muhurta, Uddhava came back to his external consciousness and he started glorifying Krishna's qualities in various ways. So many qualities he spoke about Krishna. Maybe one quality we can discuss, because our main subject is the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. Let's not spend so much time on the conversation between Maitreya and Uddhava and Vidura. There are so many popular shlokas in the conversation between Uddhav and Vidura. So Uddhava was enumerating so many wonderful qualities of Krishna, and one quality is compassion, as I said. He remembered the example of Putana. अहोबकीयं स्तनकालकूटं जिघांसया पाययदप्यसाध्वी लेभे गतिं धातृचितं ततोऽन्यं कं वा दयालुं शरणं व्रजेम. अहोबकीयं स्तनकालकूटं, this Baki, the sister of Bakasur and Aghasur, Putana, she came with a malicious intention by smearing poison on her body and wanted to kill Krishna with that poison in the pretext of offering milk like a mother. But Krishna ignored her intentions and Krishna gave importance to her actions. Generally, Krishna is Bhavagrahi, right? We say Bhavagrahi Janardana. He gives more importance to the Bhava, emotions of a devotee, not actions so much. Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. He gives importance to Bhakti more than your Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. When you offer something to the Lord with Bhakti, then he will be eager to accept it. But Putana did not offer milk to Krishna with Bhakti. Firstly, the milk itself is not pure, it's poisonous milk. Second, the intention is also not pure. It's more poisonous than the poison. Stana Kalakutam. So the milk is poisonous, infected with Kalakota poison, but the intention, the mood, the bhava is more poisonous than Kalakota poison. But Krishna somehow acted little different from his regular style. His bhavagrahi, he accepts the emotions of a devotee, but here he ignored the emotions of Putana. He ignored the intentions of Putana and he gave more importance to her attire, external attire like a mother and external actions like a mother. So he ignored the emotions and gave importance to actions and attire. As soon as Putana entered the room of Krishna, then Krishna, for a moment, he thought that, oh, Rohini Mata came here. Rohini Mata is Balramji's mother. Rohini Mata came here. He thought like that for a moment. Because the appearance, the beauty, the form of Putana resembled in general like a mother, in specific like Rohini Mata. So seeing that, Krishna thought, oh, Rohini Mata came for a moment. Then he understood he is the Supreme Lord. Although he was hardly 6 days old, he was the Supreme Lord. He could understand that it's a demon. But Lebhe gatim dhatrichitam tatonyam kamba dayalum sharanam vrajema. But Krishna gave her the position of a motherly nurse in the spiritual world. Who else can be more merciful than Krishna? Padbhyam bhakta hridistabhyam vandyabhyam loka vanditaihi angam yasyaha samakramya bhagavan api tatstanam यातु धान्यपि सा स्वर्ग भवापजननी गतिं कृष्ण भुक्तस्तन क्षीराः किमु गावो नु मातरः. If Krishna has given the position of a motherly nurse to Putana in the spiritual world, what the gopis must have attained. They did not give poisonous milk to Krishna. They acted like mothers of Krishna. What the cows of Vrindavan must have attained. Krishna, although he is grown up, he is taking the milk from the cows of Vrindavan. They are also like mothers for Krishna. So what they must have attained. Basically, Krishna is more merciful in Vrindavan than at Dwaraka, than at Hastinapur, and than at many other places. Right? In Vrindavan, Krishna is extra merciful. You can even compromise on his general style of bhavagrahi, and then he will ignore bhava and then give mercy. Actually, Krishna is looking forward to find some reason, some direct reason or indirect reason, some reason to show some mercy on a conditioned soul, even on a Rakshasi like Putana. Anyways, there are many such qualities of Krishna. Karmanyani-hasya bhavo bhavasyate Durgashrayotari bhayat palayanam kalatmano yat pramadayutashramah swatman rate khidyati dhirvidamiha karmani anihasya. Although Krishna is not obliged to perform any activity, he doesn't have any specific duty to perform. He himself says in Bhagavad Gita. What is that sloka in Bhagavad Gita? Where Krishna says, Namam karmani limpati name karma phaya spurha. He doesn't have to do any karmas, any duties. All these kami karmas, nitya karmas, naimitika karmas, all these are not there for Krishna. But karmani anihasya. Although he need not perform any activities, he performs so many activities to set an example for this humanity. That is one contradiction. Karmanyanihasya. Second contradiction. Bhavo bhavasyate. Although Krishna is unborn, he has no birth, he has no father, he has no mother, he is the supreme father of all living beings, but still, as a part of his pastimes, he accepts some of his devotees as his parents and he takes birth from Yashoda Mata and Nanda Maharaj, from Devaki and Vasudeva, from Dasharatha and Kaushalya, from Aditi and Kashyap. Right? So, bhavo abhavasyate. Although he is unborn, he takes birth. Second contradiction. All this Uddhava is saying to Vidura. Karmanya nihasya bhavo bhavasyate durgashrayo thari bhayat palayanam. Durgashrayo atha aribhayat palayanam. Kalatmano. Although Krishna is the controller of time, he can destroy everything in the form of time. Kalosmi loka kshayatrit pravruddho. He can easily destroy everything material just by mere passage of time. Still, as if he is afraid of his enemy, he ran away from Mathura and he built a fortress in the middle of ocean in Kushasthali Dvipa. And he erected Dwarka fort and he shifted all the Mathuravasis to Dwarka overnight and he also sat there. Why? Some enemies are attacking Mathura. He is pastime. Contradiction. When enemies are attacking, he will fight, right? Instead of fighting, he is running away. He is escaping in the middle of the ocean. And after shifting all his relatives, associates very safely, he himself saw Kalayavan and he ran again. He ran into Muchukunda's cave so that Muchukunda can kill Kalayavan and not he himself. There are multiple reasons. We will not get into all the reasons at this moment. But sometimes Krishna's activities are very bewildering. He is Lakshmipati. He is the master of all opulence. He is the proprietor of all planets, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. But he steals butter, buttermilk, not even gold and diamonds. He steals milk products. That is Krishna's style. He is absolute truth, but he speaks so many lies. He is the fastest, but he is caught by Mother Yashoda. So easily, effortlessly. Even yogis cannot capture him in their hearts, but Yashoda Mata could capture him in her hand. That is Krishna style. So, anyways, karmanyanihasya bhavo bhavasyate durgashrayothari bhayat palayam kalatmano yat pramadayutashramaha swatman rati. Although Krishna is swatman rati, swa-atman rati means one who takes pleasure in himself. He doesn't need anything beyond himself for his satisfaction. Such people are called swatman rati or atmarama. Although Krishna is atmarama, he is taking pleasure of household life with 16,108 queens. Seeing all these contradictory activities of Krishna, even great souls also get bewildered. Even highly intellectual philosophers also get bewildered. And Uddhava is now bewildered in his separation from Krishna. He was thinking, oh, I am separated from my master. He left me alone. He sent me to Badarikashram for this service of enlightening all the Badarikashram sages. Can't he go? He went to so many places during his manifest pastimes. He went to Hastinapur, Kundinapur, Swargaloka, Sutalaloka, Vrindavan, Mathura, Ayodhya, then Vidarbha city. What else? Mahavishnu's palace he went. Mahavishnu's abode he went. He went everywhere. And somehow in his 125 years of itinerary, he did not find one day also to go to Badarikashram. And he is instructing Uddhava, you go and enlighten the sages of Badarikashram. And what will you do? I will go back to Goloka. I will go after 2 days. Na? No, I will go now, you should go and enlighten them. Did you find any logic here? Anyone knows the reason why Krishna wanted Uddhava to go to Badarikashram and enlighten the sages and why not he himself? That is his will. 120 years he spent. One more day, 2 more days. And it's not that Krishna has to travel on his plan and his chariot, Daruka and all. He can disappear from uh, Dwaraka, he can appear in Badarkashram. Or he can be in Dwaraka, he can be in Badarkashram also. He can do anything. But he wanted Uddhava to do this. And while Uddhava is crying so much that I want to come with you. Kshanarthenapi talage. I cannot tolerate even half moment of separation from you. My dear Lord, please take me along with you. I can't be living in this material world in your absence. No, we have to do this service. We are dealing with a very unpredictable personality, Krishna. Why Krishna does what he does, what Krishna expects from his devotees. Sometimes you may understand, but most of the times you don't understand also. Sometimes some acharyas are merciful enough to give some tika. Oh, this is why Krishna did this. But sometimes you can't find a logical reason. At least, although there is a logical reason, it doesn't fit into your logic. It doesn't seem obvious to you, right? Why Krishna did this to me? Why this so much difficulty came in my life? I never harmed anyone. Why Krishna is harming me? Especially when devotees face difficulties, they find it very difficult to digest. How could Krishna do this to me? Now, that's what makes Krishna inconceivable, achintya. If the intentions of a personality are very easily revealed to you, you have intellectually defeated him. That's why Krishna said, what to speak of you, even great devatas and sages also cannot understand me. Nami viduhu suraganaha prabhavam na maharshayah. Ahamadir hi devana maharshinam cha sarvashah. I am the Adi, I am the origin of all devatas and maharshis. How can they understand me? If they can't understand me, how can you understand me? I am Adi of you also. He is not only Adi, origin of all the devatas and rishis, he is the origin of everybody. We cannot understand Krishna completely. Bhishma also says, Nahiyasya karhi chitrajan puman veda vidhitsitam yadvijignasaya yukta muhyanti kavayopihi. Muhyanti kavayopihi. In their attempts to understand the intentions and actions of Krishna, even great kavis and philosophers and transcendentalists and spiritualists also become thoroughly bewildered. Muhyanti kavayopihi. You cannot fully understand. And Uddhava is giving this service. Go to Badarkashram. He's crying. And in his intense emotions, he's enumerating various bewildering activities of Krishna. See, this is what Krishna does. Why did he engage me here? I have to travel all the way. Not that he doesn't want to serve Krishna, but it's a bit surprising. Why Krishna did not want to personally go to Badarkashram and why he has to engage Uddhava. Krishna was thinking, oh, I didn't go to Badarkashram. Who will go on my behalf? He's very good. He's as good as me. He is the right recipient. So Krishna has his own reasons why he would perform an activity through his devotees. Sometimes we can understand, sometimes we cannot understand. Anyways, in this way, Uddhava was recollecting all the wonderful qualities and pastimes of Krishna, sometimes becoming very emotional, sometimes becoming very joyful. In this way, he was speaking in front of Vidura for a long time, 4 chapters. After hearing all this, Vidura said, Uddhava, you know so much about Krishna. And Krishna has personally enlightened you in 2 long classes. One Uddhava Gita class that lasted for 23 chapters, and one more class, Paramam Sthitim class at Prabhasa Kshetra. So he has enlightened you so nicely. Now you enlighten me. I accept you as my Guru. You become my Guru, I become your disciple, so please enlighten me. See Vidura's example. Vidura was willing to become a student, a disciple of someone who is on the level of his son. Vidura is the previous generation. But still, he understood that although I am elderly in age, Uddhava is more mature in devotion, more mature in knowledge. He is a personal associate of Krishna. I am stuck up in the association of Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, and he is always next to Krishna. Where is he and where am I? A devotee does not have pride, thinking that I know so much, I'm so exalted, this and that. A devotee always finds some reason to see someone else's exalted nature. Oh, this person is better than me. So devotee understands that. So uh, Vidura unhesitatingly expressed his willingness to accept Uddhava as his guru. But Uddhava had hesitation. Uddhava thought that he's on the level of my father. How can I instruct him? If I become his guru, if I accept him as my disciple, that will be Maryada Vyatikram. So far he was speaking, not like a guru. He was sharing Krishna Katha. Right? You can speak Krishna Katha in front of anyone, elders or younger ones, anyone. But instructing like a guru is a different thing. They are discussing about Krishna. That is like Machitta Madgata Prana Bodhintah Parasparam. Or Parasparana Kathanam Pavanam Bhagavad Mitho Ratihi, Mitha Tushtir, Nivrittir Mitha Atmanaha. These are all wonderful. But accepting someone as disciple officially is a good thing. So Uddhava said, no, I cannot accept it. This will be Maryada Vyatikram. Then he also said, I have another service. Krishna gave me another service. Don't extend my tenure here. I have to finish my service of enlightening Badrikashram sages and go back to Godhead. This is my role. So sometimes when somebody comes to you to take instruction, to accept you as Guru, if somebody tells you, Prabhu, I want to become your disciple, how will you feel? Right? With the very proposal, externally we say, no, I'm not qualified. But internally, there's some ego may feel some kind of comfort and coziness. So he's considering me a worthy guru. So Vidura did not have that excitement, right? So somehow praise, claps, whistles, pujala pratishta, that somehow boosts one's ego many times. So when someone is appreciating you, accept it as a blessing. Accept it as a feedback or acknowledgement for your service. Oh, fine. I think kuch gadu nahi hua. He's appreciating means I didn't do any mistakes in the service. It's good. You feel happy for it. You feel encouraged to do more service. You feel grateful for their blessing. But if you take it to your head and become proud, yes, these people are appreciating you means I'm very great devotee. I'm very great servant. If you feel like that, then we have a long way to go to the real standard of devotion. So Uddhava did not feel excited to accept Vidura as his disciple. He said, when Krishna was giving me teachings, Maitreya Muni was also personally present. He also heard all the teachings of Krishna. You better go to him. He's nearby. He's at Haridwar. Let me go to Badrikashram. You go to Haridwar, meet Maitreya, and hear Krishna Katha from him. So this is the background of the meeting between Vidura and Maitreya. I didn't start the class till now. We only gave the context of this meeting. I gave a super quick summary of the first 4 chapters of 3rd canto. Actually, this conversation between Vidura and Maitreya is glorified in the beginning of the 3rd canto. Nahiyal parthodayastasya vidurasyamalatmanah tasmin variyasi prashnah sadhu vadopabramhitah nahi alparthodayastasya. The conversation happened between Vidura and Maitreya was not for any meager purpose. It's not for alpa artha. Alparthodayastasya. Vidurasya amalatmanah, because Vidura is pure-hearted devotee, amalatmanah, very pure-hearted. And all the questions that Vidura asked Maitreya Muni are with an intention to advance in spiritual life, not with an intention to accumulate knowledge, information, update the data, copy this data also. Hard disk layout, copy this also. Download this video also. You have so many GBs or TBs of data, and we are hardly accessing it. Right? It's not that Vidura is over enthusiastic to accumulate information. He wants to gather inspiration. So while taking information, look for inspiration, for transformation. If you are not looking forward for inspiration, and if you are not looking forward for your own personal heart transformation, all the information that you accumulate will not be of much use. So Vidura was eager to know more and more about Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. And Maitreya Muni, who has heard directly from Krishna in the presence of a pure devotee Uddhava, he was also eager. Just understand the glory of Maitreya Muni. Two full cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, some of the longest cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, manifested from the mouth of Maitreya Muni. Third canto and fourth canto are spoken by Maitreya Muni. Third canto, fifth chapter till 33rd chapter. How much is that? 29 chapters. And fourth canto has 31 chapters. Right? 33, right? 33 minus 4, 29. 29 plus 31. 60 chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam are spoken by Maitreya Muni to Vidura. Two cantos are conversation between these two personalities. If Bhagavatam chose to manifest from the mouth of Maitreya Muni, how exalted he must be. So Maitreya Muni is speaking. Vidura went to Haridwar and met Maitreya Muni and offered obeisances and asked the first question. Very beautiful question. Soham, no, not this one. Sukhaya karmani karoti loko natai sukham vanyaduparamam va vindeta bhuyastata eva dukkham yadatra yuktam bhagavan vadennaha. He said, Sukhaya karmani karoti loko. In this world, people perform so many activities with the intention to get sukha, happiness. But will they get sukha? No. They get distress. They get the opposite. They are working for happiness, but they are getting distress, then they should stop. But they don't stop. They continue to work for happiness and they continue to get distress. And it's very surprising. Sukhaya karmani karoti loko natai sukham vanyaduparamam vindeta bhuyastata eva dukkham yadatra yuktam bhagavan vadennaha. How to stop this useless endeavor for material happiness despite lack of success in this endeavor? That was the first question asked by Vidura to Maitreya. Now Maitreya Muni is sitting there with the experience of hearing Harikatha directly from Hari. And he could have spoken very, very exalted topics. But Vidura is asking a very basic question, considering himself like a conditioned soul. And on behalf of all conditioned souls, he is asking how to mitigate suffering. You could have chosen, can you please speak Rasa Leela of Krishna? Can you speak Rasa Panchadhyaya? I'm very eager to know that. Or can you speak at least Krishna's other pastimes in Vrindavan? Or can you speak on Lalita Madhu, Vidurga Madhu, Vilapa Kusumanjali? He did not begin with those topics. Very exalted devotees can go through those topics. But Vidura is very humbly considering himself as a conditioned soul and speaking and asking questions like a conditioned soul. So very primitive questions, very basic questions. And his basic is our greatest, our PhD. So Vidura asked this. Although his initial questions fall way below his devotional standard, he is asking those questions out of compassion for all of us. Bhagavatam is a wonderfully transcendentally orchestrated conversation between multiple personalities. So Bhagavatam organically presents the tattva of Krishna, tattva of Jiva, and the conditioned state of a soul here, and speaks many basic topics in the beginning, and then slowly, eventually takes us to higher realms of Krishna Leela, Vrindavan Leela in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. But first 9 cantos are focusing on the greatness of Krishna, and the 10th canto begins with sweetness of Krishna. This 10th canto also has a description of greatness of Krishna, and initial cantos also have a description of the sweetness of Krishna. But first 9 cantos are primarily in an Aishwarya flavor, where Krishna's majesty, grandeur, opulence, his position as the creator, maintainer, destroyer, all these are described. And Krishna's simple leelas of stealing butter, all these are described in the 10th canto. For us to be able to appreciate and accept All the simple childhood pastimes of Krishna as divine pastimes, we need to have the background of understanding how glorious Krishna is from the first 9 cantos of Bhagavatam. Therefore, Prabhupada often recommends, don't directly jump to 10th canto. Go through first 9 cantos, then enter 10th canto. So, Vidura asked this question in 3.5.2. Then Maitri Muni answered this question in 3.8.2. Of course, in these 3 chapters, many other topics are also happening, but I want to give the answer now at this moment. Because that establishes the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. The answer of Maitreya Muni describes the glory of Bhagavatam. The answer is, what was the question? How to mitigate the sufferings of the conditioned souls, and how to stop these unnecessary endeavors of the conditioned souls for material happiness, although they are undergoing distress. So, Maitreya Muni says, Soham nrinam kshulla sukhaya dukkham mahaggatanam viramaya tasya pravartaye bhagavatah puranam yadaha sakshat bhagavan rishibhyah soham nrinam kshulla sukhaya. For meager amount of happiness, mahad dukkham, these conditioned souls are experiencing tremendous amount of distress. For kshulla sukha, mahad dukkham. Is it worth? It's not worth, but still they are undergoing that. Viramayatasya, how to stop this? The process of stopping this is taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Pravartaye Bhagavatam Puranam Yadaha Sakshat Bhagavan Rishibhyah. Just to stop these useless endeavors of the conditioned souls, attempting to attain material happiness and give them a sense of real spiritual happiness, Bhagavatam is spoken directly by the Supreme Lord to different sages, and that Bhagavatam came down in parampara. So that is the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. On one hand, Bhagavatam is understood by very exalted devotees. Nirmatsaranam satam vedyam dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayonmulanam. So Bhagavatam is understood by nirmatsaranam, non-envious, pure-hearted devotees. It's meant for them. But on the other hand, Bhagavatam is also meant for Soham Runam Kshulla Sukhaya Dukkham, for conditioned souls who are rotting in the material existence. So whether somebody is a conditioned soul rotting in the material miseries, or someone is very exalted with absolutely no envy and other anarthas in the heart, Bhagavatam is relevant for both categories and everyone between these two categories. Bhagavatam has a wider spectrum. Like, akamaha sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Akama, you have no desire. Sarva kama, you have all kinds of desires. Moksha kama, you are desiring liberation. Whatever category you may belong to, Bhagavatam is relevant for all of us. That's what we can learn from Maitreya Muni's words. Maitreya Muni is establishing the glory, authenticity, and universal relevance of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially in uplifting the degraded consciousness of a conditioned soul to an elevated platform. So this is Maitreya Muni's one input we can take from Vidura Maitreya Samvad. Maybe you can count lessons. There are innumerable lessons. First is, you understand how humble Vidura is. Although he is very exalted, he is considering himself like a conditioned soul and asking some basic questions, primitive questions on behalf of conditioned souls that fall way below his standard. So, as a listener of Bhagavatam, Vidura is very humble. And as a speaker of Bhagavatam, Maitreya Muni is establishing the authenticity of the subject matter that he is speaking and establishing the universal relevance of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's what I have heard so far. And more. Vidura spoke to Maitreya Muni. He appreciated him. I am asking this important question to you because you are qualified to answer the question. Janasya Krishna Vimukhasya Daiva Adharmashilasya Sudukhitasya Anugrahayeha Charanti Nunam Bhutani Bhavyani Janardanasya. Janasya Krishna Vimukhasya. Janasya, common people, They're suffering because Krishna Vimukha, they have turned their faces away from Krishna. Krishna Vimukhasya, Vimukhasya Daivat. Because they have turned their faces away from Daiva or Krishna, they are undergoing distress. Sudukhitasya. Adharma Shilasya. Actually, dharma, paro dharma, a supreme dharma of all living entities is to perform bhakti unto Krishna. But adharma means to not perform bhakti unto the Lord. Right? This is adharma. These are definitions of dharma and adharma. Adharma shilasya, and that will lead to sudukhitasya. Anugrahaye hacharanti nunam bhutani bhavyani janardanasya. Out of his intense anugraha, an acharya or a pure devotee wanders in this material world, like Prabhupada and many Narada Muni and many other exalted Vaishnavas. They travel from one place to another place not for sightseeing, but out of their anugraha, their compassion for all the conditioned souls. They wanted to give Krishna to everyone. So here, another lesson we can see is the purpose of the wanderings or travelings of a devotee. That is to enlighten common people. That's what Vidura said. Secondly, one more lesson you can count. Vidura is appreciating Maitreyamuni's position. He's asking questions. He's ready to learn from Maitreyamuni. He accepted him as his Bhagavatam teacher. And he's glorifying him. He's appreciating him. He's grateful to him. So when the student has appreciation for the teacher, when the disciple has great appreciation for the guru, then the knowledge transmission and inspiration transmission will happen very seamlessly. But when that gratitude is not there, when that appreciation is not there, then like in typical materialistic educational places, professor is writing something on the board and the student is doing racket, right? Or passing some comments. Happens in colleges, right? I have seen. So, but that is not the teacher-student relationship in spiritual circles. The student has great gratitude. The hearer has great respect and gratitude towards the teacher. And that's what we can understand from Maitreyamuni, from Vidura. Vidura's glorification of Maitreyamuni. And Maitreyamuni is no less. You know what Maitreyamuni is saying to Vidura? Vidura, you are such an exalted devotee. I could see Krishna only once in that class he was giving to Uddhava. But you have seen Krishna so many times. And before departing, Krishna has left some personal instructions for you with me. You understand? How exalted you are. And your past life is glorious. You are Yamaraj, an exalted devotee. And somehow because of Mandavi Muni's curse, you are moving like a Shudra here, Dasiputra here in this life, but you are Yamaraj. And even the way you have manifested as Vidura is also interesting. You are the son of Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Maitreyamuni is glorifying Vidura for many reasons. For his past life, devotion, for his current life, parentage, and for his connection with Krishna. So Maitreyamuni is not taking Vidura for granted at all. Sometimes materialistic teachers in this material world may take their students for granted. They may look down upon them. Hey, he doesn't know anything. I am enlightening you. I am teacher. You listen. So that kind of pride may be there in a materialistic teacher. But here, Maitreyamuni is grateful to Vidura. Maitreyamuni is appreciating and glorifying Vidura in so many ways. He is not taking Vidura's company for granted. Although I am speaking and you are hearing, still you are glorious. And it is my fortune to speak Harikatha in front of an exalted devotee like you, as per your expectation. As your humble servant, I am speaking Harikatha according to your questions. So this is the mood of Maitreyamuni. He is not taking Vidura for granted. Further, Vidura and Maitreya discussed a few topics. 2 cantos of Bhagavatam we cannot finish in 1 hour. So I am just speaking some highlights here and there, whatever I could recollect. After some time, after Maitreya Muni spoke a few words, a few teachings to Vidura, and Vidura started glorifying and appreciating Maitreya Muni. Then you know what Maitreya Muni said? Before what Maitreya Muni said, let me speak what Vidura said. Vidura said, "My dear Maitreya Muni, you have explained to me so nicely this Ishvara Tattva and Jiva Tattva and the way the creation has manifested. You have spoken so many things. I'm very grateful to you. But all that you have spoken, my intelligence could understand and process it. I got a quote unquote theoretical understanding or some intellectual understanding of it. But all this knowledge will become realization when I render service to you. Service. Durapahyalpa tapasa seva vaikunthavartmasu yatropagiyate nityam deva devo janardanaha. Durapahi alpatapasa, those who are meager in their austerity will not get an opportunity to even associate with great devotees or serve them. But fortunate people will get opportunity to serve pure devotees. And by that service, your knowledge will become realization. Service is that circuit that converts the input of theoretical knowledge into practical realization, output of practical realization. Some of your engineering students, circuits, input, output. I forgot all that now. So he says, I have to serve you, or I have to serve exalted souls, Vaishnavas. Then I will convert my knowledge into realization, he said that. Then, you know what Maitreya Muni is saying? Vidura, because you're eager to hear Krishna Katha, I got an opportunity to speak Krishna Katha. In fact, by your enthusiasm to hear, you are making a garland of Krishna's glories. Right? Maitreya Muni is glorifying Vidura like this. Imagine, this is not Mala, this is Kirti Mala. Kirti Mala means garland of Krishna's glories. Every question Vidura is asking Maitreya Muni, he is giving a flower to Maitreya Muni. Question is a topic, right? Giving the flower. And Maitreya Muni is speaking that and means he is inserting that into the garland. So together, Maitreya Muni and Vidura are making a garland of Krishna's glories, and that is very nicely captured in the third canto of Samvad Bhagavatam. But Maitreya Muni is giving all the credit of making the garland of Krishna's glories, Kirtimala, to Vidura. Vidura, if you have not asked these questions, I would not have made this garland only. I would not have spoken the answers only. So never think that when you are speaking Krishna Katha, you are what to say, exhibiting your scholarship or knowledge or experience. You are getting an opportunity to purify your consciousness and be Krishna conscious for that 1 hour or 2 hours. Right? Without getting distracted or deviated. Right? When you are speaking, you can't sleep. When you are hearing, you can sleep. While hearing, you see so many times you see audience dozing off, but speaker can't do that. Even if he's sleepy, he has to be awake. So, attentively glorifying Krishna for 1 hour, that is what giving class means. Being Krishna conscious for 1 hour or 2 hours, that is what class is. Not that you are exhibiting your great scholarship and knowledge, etc. So, Vidura is glorifying Maitreya Muni for enlightening him. But Maitreya Muni is glorifying Vidura, saying that because of you being eager to hear Krishna Katha, I got this opportunity to glorify Krishna. Credit goes to you, not me. Both are fighting with each other or competing with each other and giving credit to each other, not grabbing credit from each other. Vidura is not saying, because I sat in your class, you are able to speak. Otherwise, you would be idle. Vidura did not say that. Maitreya Muni also, because I am enlightening you, you are getting some knowledge about Krishna. Otherwise, you don't know anything. Maitreya Muni is not in that mood. Both are grateful to each other for contributing to each other's Krishna consciousness. See Maitreya Muni's humility. More insights into their conversation. He said, he spoke about the process of creation, manifestation of universal form, many things he spoke, and at the end he said, Tathapi kirtayam yanga यथा मति यथा श्रुतम कीर्तिम हरे स्वाम सत्कर्तुम गिरम अन्याभिदासतिम. You also recite this. तथापि कीर्तयाम यंगम यथा मति यथा श्रुतम कीर्तिम हरे स्वाम सत्कर्तुम गिरम अन्याभिदासतिम. He said that I have been speaking so much to you about Krishna's glories and other things, but I don't know much. I don't know so much. Tathapi still, Kirtayam Yanga, I'll speak. If you don't know, how will you speak? Whatever I know, I'll speak. Yatha Mati Yatha Shritam. Yatha Shritam means whatever you could hear from bona fide sources. Yatha Mati means whatever you could understand from what you heard. So based on whatever you could hear and whatever you could understand, you can always speak and glorify the Lord. Yathamati yathashritam tathapi kirtayam linga. I mean, your knowledge may be incomplete. Actually, your knowledge is always incomplete. How can one understand Krishna completely? He cannot understand himself completely. The person who has maximum understanding of Krishna is Srimati Radharani. Right? Even Krishna cannot completely understand himself. He cannot completely relish his sweetness. One thing is about knowledge and his opulence. Second is his sweetness. He cannot fully relish his sweetness. Sugar cannot understand how sweet it is. Someone who eats the sugar can understand. And the person who is eating sugar should not have diabetes. Should not have any indigestion. Some people can drink 1 liter rabdi and they can digest. Some people take 1 spoon rabdi and they have dysentery. Right? So, Srimati Radharani and all the Vrajavasis, they are the greatest relishers of Krishna's sweetness. All others cannot relish as much as they relish. And Krishna is curious, oh, they're relishing my sweetness, I am unable to relish much. Srimati Radharani, the best of all the gopis, she's relishing my sweetness, I am unable to relish my sweetness. Unless I take her position, I cannot understand how sweet am I. Right? So that is the mode in which Krishna became Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted to understand. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva Swadyo Yena Adbhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Vamadiya Swadyo Yena Adbhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Vamadiya. My Adbhuta Madhurima is understood and relished by her. What means? Unless I become her, unless I adopt her emotions and complexion, and unless I become a devotee of Krishna, I cannot understand Krishna. I cannot relish Krishna. Krishna is happy and excited being a devotee of Krishna than being Krishna. That's the glory of being a devotee of Krishna. And the best of all devotees is Srimati Radharani. Therefore, Krishna wanted to become Radharani or adopt her emotions. So that is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. With relishing Krishna. Anyways, coming back to the Samvad of Maitreya Muni and Vidura. Maitreya Muni said, I don't know much about Krishna's glories, but still I am speaking for my own purification. For my own purification I am speaking. Otherwise my power of speech will remain unchaste. Hrishikena Hrishikesa Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. When you engage your senses in the service of the master of senses, Krishna, then it is bhakti. So we have so many senses. One is the ability to speak. So unless we engage our ability to speak in glorifying Krishna, our power of speech will remain unchaste. And therefore Maitreya Muni, in a mood of self-purification, is speaking Harikatha. Further he said, he is convinced about the highest perfectional gain one can attain by speaking Krishna Katha. He said, Ekantalabham vachaso anupumsam sushloka mauler gunavadamahu Shrutescha vidvadbhirupakritaya